Hi, everybody. We're going to dive right into what's going on this week, the changes that have been made politically, and see how it's going to affect the health of us and our children. Because that's what we, always talk about here is health and real policy changes. So, this week was a big week. It was, some people are relieved, some people are devastated. But what's happened, everyone knows that President Trump is the new president-elect for 2025. And with him, he brings a ragtag group of ex-Democrats and people fighting to make change. So RFK is the big news in the health world, in the natural health world. We, really like Bobby Kennedy and his message. We followed him for years. We watched him change environmental policies to protect the environment and to protect the health of our children and us. So he ran on the campaign of Make America Healthy Again. When he joined the Trump campaign, it was clear that he wasn't going to run for president, wasn't going to get elected. So he joined the Trump campaign. I don't know how much change he's going to be able to make. I hope it's a lot of change. I think that that's what's required in America today to improve the health of everyone around us and especially our children. So, I was at the gym and working out, and it's one of the best places to have big epiphanies. But I realized, with the people that are happy, with the people that are not, we often fight for one side or the other, based on sometimes you're one policy voter. Sometimes you are voting for a person at the identity politics. Sometimes you really are behind a party. But what we tend to do is our guy or girl gets elected and we chill out. And I think that that's where politics fails. I think when you care about someone to get them elected for whatever reason or whatever policy, then it's your job to hold them accountable. So I seek to, with this podcast, watch Bobby. What is he doing? Is he really making America healthy again? Some of the questions that we have is, as a group, natural health people as a group, is he going to be capable of doing these things? We are pretty aware, listening to Trump speak about things, that he is pro pharma. And I think anyone that could be elected president would be pro Big Pharma. They have to be. And Big Pharma is not bad, right? It's just that they're behaving in such a way, it's not always real science. It has a lot of government collusion. I hope that Bobby's able to go after that because I think that would lead to great change. We do need pharmaceutical companies. We need them to have breakthroughs for devastating illnesses. And I think the best argument I've had is they should be rewarded for that, and not some of the other things they get rewarded for and weird loopholes that make them lots of money. So over the next 4 years, I'm going to set out to learn as much about what Bobby is putting through. I'd like to talk about, from a natural health perspective, what it means. So chiropractors have been leading the charge of natural health for a really long time. We're a funny profession. We are divided. What's not divided, but there is a big group of us that are into natural health and really want people to be healthy. And we always have. And that's why we got into this profession. There's a lot of other professions that care about this too. So let's chat about what he will do, what he is doing. Is he being stopped by Trump? Is he being allowed to actually make changes? Yeah, let's work on this. So I'll do my part to draw attention to things that keep the government accountable, that I wanted to see in place. I wanted to see Bobby Kennedy lead this charge. And, with all the changes he's making, he's going up against a lot of big players. I also pray for safety. So the biggest move that I've seen, the only one that I've really seen him commit to, is saying he will take fluoride out of the water on January 20th. I believe it's January 20th. I have thoughts on this. I'm more libertarian leaning. a more moderate. I don't know that I want the federal government leading this charge, but he is part of the federal government. So with the debate on fluoride, it doesn't feel like it's much of a debate in my mind, but I know that some people really love the fluoride in the water. So the benefit with the fluoride in the water is supposedly that it decreases cavities. And there's some research to show that for sure. Then there is also pretty solid research, not pretty solid, very solid research showing that it also decreases the IQ of our children by points. So I don't know a single parent that is saying, sure, decrease my child's IQ for no or less or fewer cavities. I definitely wouldn't take that bet. We got to work on our dental health in other ways too. And the tip at the end of this podcast that I want to talk about is eating real food. And I think when you eat real food, fruits, vegetables, fruits, it does decrease your likelihood of cavities for sure. So is the federal government leading the charge the best approach? I would probably like to see maybe punishments. I wouldn't like to see a firm power grab from the federal government, but I like where this is going. I like that we won't just be it's not necessarily a drug, but kind of a drug, putting these fluoride ions or fluoride into the water system in every area of the United States. And some places don't have fluoride in the water. We live in a county that doesn't have fluoride in the water. And then the one that my children go to school in does. So, there's also the debate with it. If this was, natural fluoride running from the stream coming from a mountain and clean water, and we were drinking that, would we maybe find more benefit? Sure. I don't think a lot of people are aware that the fluoride that's put in the water isn't a whole source. It is a byproduct of industrial waste. I'm not totally sure where it comes from. I've heard things, but I won't say exactly what that is. So, we tend to think in the natural professions that whole is better because whole is what our bodies have adapted to over the years. It's what our bodies was made for our bodies. So is it great that there's a change being made immediately? Yes. Will some people fight it? Absolutely. I don't expect the media to be kind about this. Unfortunately, I don't expect the media to be kind about anything because now health and health policy change have become political, whereas they're not actually political. We all have the right to clean water and clean food, real clean food, and sunshine and exercise and laughter and family and spirituality and all of the things that make us whole, healthy people. So expect a lot of attacks about it, expect a lot of debates on vaccines as we go forward. But it's changed, it'll be made, and let's see what happens with it in the next couple months. So the tip of the day that I wanted to talk about, real health, real food. Real food begets real health. We were made to eat real food. Real food was made for us. It was made before us, whatever you want to say. It's here for us. So what do we eat to be healthy? I think everybody knows that it's good for children to eat fruits and vegetables. It's good for children to eat good protein. It's good for children to have a good source of fiber and clean water. So I would have preferred, and maybe this is a bigger policy change and not so much low-hanging fruit, I would love to see Bobby talking about subsidies for farmers, that not just corn and soy, which are the most highly subsidized in the US. I would like to see subsidies for organic and regenerative farms. I would love to see food priorities in food deserts. So a food desert is the term for an area, often urban areas, where they cannot have produce. They only really have access to prepackaged, unhealthy foods because it's shelf stable. So if there are certain grassroots efforts that have worked on this, But if we could get children fruits and vegetables, it could be school lunches, real fruits and vegetables, real clean ones. School lunches would be a great way to do that, and not just, I've seen some of the fruit and vegetable choices at some of the schools locally, and sometimes they're okay. And sometimes a fruit is a fruit cup and syrup, which not a great option, right? Fresh fruit and fresh vegetables make the big difference. So if we could see a change like this, if we could see, I guess this is part of our water being cleaned up, removing the fluoride from it. If we could just see better access to these things. One of the funniest things that I've seen over the last 5 years, maybe 10 years, but 5 years, especially doing the gut health testing and the microbiome analysis, is I'm seeing a lot of kids with parasites. And I'm seeing little kids with parasites, 2-year-olds. So, I mean, it's always an option to get a parasite. The question is, where are they getting? And I'll talk to the parents. What have you done? Have you played in dirty water outside? No, my child's never done that. That would be the most common place I would expect to see things like Giardia. I've seen a lot, and I know that sometimes they do go through the daycare, but where they're getting exposed to parasites is bizarre. So, I've always wondered, could there be in our water supply that we're unaware of? Certainly not all water processing plants are the same. These would be good policy questions for someone like Bobby Kennedy. So I hope that we see bigger changes that make real differences for Americans and for American children. My real passion is kids, because when we improve the health of our children, we improve the health of our country. So I hope you'll follow me as we talk about what's happening and what's changing over the next 4 years, and we see if Bobby's able to make America healthy again. And I certainly hope he is. Thanks for listening. Bye.